Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to uncover what corporate filings are really trying to tell us and sometimes what they are trying to hide. Today we are looking at a report from Concorde International Group Limited that paints a picture of their performance in the first half of this year. It is filed in September 2025, so it tells us how they did up until the 30th of June 2025. We will dig into their finances and see if their reported revenue growth is as strong as it sounds. And hey, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you are subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below where we discuss these filings in more detail. So let us dive in. This report is from Concorde International Group Limited. They are a foreign private issuer, which means they are a company based outside the United States, but they still have to file reports with the US Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, for their shareholders here. They are filing a Form 6K, which is basically a report of foreign private issuers that is generally used to provide information that the company may be required to disclose or make public in its home country. Think of it as an update. The most critical part of this filing is the unaudited financial statements. This gives us a snapshot of how Concorde International Group Limited performed financially for the first 6 months of 2025 compared to the same period in 2024. This is crucial because it shows us the trend and whether the company is growing or shrinking. Now this is interesting. The company itself issued a press release highlighting an 11% year-over-year revenue growth to $6.0 million for the first half of 2025. That sounds pretty good on the surface. An 11% jump means they are bringing in more money than they did last year, but we need to see the actual numbers in the financial statements to understand the real story. Sometimes headlines can be a bit more optimistic than the underlying data. When we look at the detailed financial statements for the 6 months ended the 30th of June 2025, we see that their total revenue reached $6.0 million, indeed an 11% increase from $5.4 million in the same period of 2024. That confirms the press release. However, we also need to look at what is happening with their expenses and ultimately their profit. When we check the profit attributable to owners of the parent, we see a figure of $320,000 for the 6 months ended the 30th of June 2025. This is a decrease compared to $480,000 during the corresponding period in 2024. So while revenue is up, profits are down, this is a very common scenario. They are selling more, but it is costing them more to do it, or they are not managing their costs effectively. This means their profit margin, which is the percentage of revenue that turns into profit, has shrunk significantly. The company also provided an operating and financial review. They explain their performance and what they expect for the future. They mentioned that the revenue growth was driven by increased sales of their products and services. They also talk about their efforts to control costs and improve efficiency. However, the drop in profit suggests that these cost control measures are not yet fully effective, or that there are external factors impacting their profitability like rising costs of raw materials or increased competition that forces them to spend more on sales and marketing to keep that revenue growing. The report is signed by Swee Kung Chua, who is the Chief Executive Officer and Chairman. When looking at these filings, it is always good to note who is signing off on them. It gives a face to the numbers, and they are indicating they file their annual reports under Form 20F. That is standard for foreign companies trading in the US. So what is the story here? Concorde International Group Limited is successfully growing its top-line revenue. This shows they are reaching more customers or selling more to existing ones, which is a positive sign of market demand for their offerings. However, the decline in profit is a significant red flag. It means that the cost of generating that extra revenue has gone up proportionally even more. They are spending more to earn less profit. This could be due to a number of reasons like increased competition forcing them to lower prices or spend more on marketing, or perhaps the cost of producing their goods has escalated. The company needs to address this efficiency gap quickly. If they continue to grow revenue at the expense of profit, then the growth itself is not sustainable in the long run, as it does not translate into actual value for shareholders. The critical question for Concorde International Group Limited moving forward is whether they can translate this revenue growth into profitable growth. They need to find ways to manage their expenses more effectively or increase their selling prices to improve their profit margins. Otherwise, they might find themselves in a situation where they are busy but not actually making more money. The risks mentioned in their forward-looking statements about market conditions and assumptions about their business could be contributing factors to this profit squeeze. Overall, Concorde International Group Limited is showing signs of life with its revenue growth, which is encouraging. But the declining profitability in the first half of 2025 is a serious concern that investors and management should be actively addressing. We will be watching their future reports closely to see if they can turn this around. Alright, that is our breakdown of Concorde International Group Limited S latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company S future? Do you think their revenue growth will eventually translate into better profits, or are there more challenges ahead? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.